the desire that was on my heart at that point was to leave and go farm. Like I wanted to go be a farmer, but I wasn't comfortable leaving the seminary for that, because it was like, well, if the Lord had put the desire on my heart to be married, like strongly, like, okay, he's probably working there. But to go leave for farming versus priesthood, like I just wasn't able to leave. I wasn't comfortable leaving. My priest formator back home had told me, to move on to theology, you need to have a desire for priesthood. And so if you're in this place where you're kind of 50-50 come your graduation, we're not going to recommend that you even go on. And in that conversation, part of me was like, yes, like finally, I'll be able to leave. I'll have an excuse, right? But in that conversation, we had just talked about putting the ball in God's court. Like saying, Lord, if you want me to be a priest, you're going to have to give me a desire for it. I was kind of straddling the line between what God wanted me to do and what I wanted to do. And I was still holding on to an image or, something that I thought I could have. And that was preventing me from fully surrendering and giving my discernment over to God. Just kind of realizing, okay, if I look at my whole life, it's all pointing towards priesthood, right? And so again, I didn't want to admit this to myself. I didn't want to make that surrender that, okay, I think the Lord wants me to be a priest. So he was still working on me. I was wrestling with this. And at some point, he gave me the grace to make that act of surrender, where I said, Lord, I'm going to flip this the way I've been seeing my discernment on its head. Rather than saying, I need 100% certainty from you before I'll say yes. I'll say yes now and trust 100% that you'll tell me no if you don't want me to be a priest. And after making that prayer, after coming back to the United States and just working through that summer, that all of a sudden there was a lot more peace with the idea of becoming a priest. And then kind of the final part of my story, I'm reading a book by Father Carter Griffin called Forming Fathers. He's a rector of a seminary out in D.C., and Archbishop had actually given all the seminarians and priests this book for Christmas the previous year. So I was finishing it up, and he had a line in there that priests are necessary because hell is real and normal people like you and I can get there. And so when I read that, there was just a fire that, like, I remember closing the book and just kind of closing my eyes and really feeling this desire just kind of well up in my heart of, this is what I want, Lord. This is what I want.